Here is a summary of Part 1 of The Interview by Christopher Silvestre. The Interview, Silvestre states, has been an integral part of journalism for the last 130 years. Any literate person would have read an interview at some point or the other. While some people claim that an interview is an art form and a credible source of truth, celebrities often consider it as an invasion of their privacy. This might be because these celebrities feel that interviews often treat them unjustly. Some primitive cultures believe that a photograph takes away the soul of its subject. Similarly, some believe that an interview diminishes a person's dignity. Now, Silvestre quotes different literary figures who agree with this view. V.S. Naipaul, author of A House for Mr. Biswas, believes that an interview hurts the person being interviewed. Famous children's book author Lewis Carroll never consented to interviews because of his fear of interviewers. He also believed he would be celebrated unnecessarily. The Jungle Book author Rudyard Kipling went one step further. He stated that he found this form repulsive and unpleasant. In her diary entry, Kipling's wife Caroline notes how an interviewer once ruined their day. However, Silvestre considered it ironic that he had interviewed Mark Twain. Like Kipling, Wells also considered the interview to be a nightmare. Though he gave several interviews during his life, he had also interviewed Joseph Stalin. Finally, Silvestre outlines noted playwright and novelist Saul Bellow's opinion. Bellow said that he felt suffocated by interviews. Although Silvestre quotes these writers, he believes that the interview is a useful method of communication. The essay ends with a comment by Dennis Bryan, who believed in the usefulness of the interview and, as such, the influence of the interviewer. Here is a summary of Part 2 of the chapter, The Interview. Padmanabhan introduces Umberto Eco as a formidable scholar with expertise in a wide range of academic subjects. Eco's remarkable literary career has spanned academic texts, essays, fictions, newspaper articles, and children's books. He attained intellectual superstardom with the publication of The Name of the Rose in 1980. Padmanabhan began the interview by quoting author and critic David Lodge on Eco's writing output. Eco commented that his writing focused on one thing, similar topics, which makes his writing process easier. He also made use interstices, or empty spaces, to expand his writing output. For Eco, empty spaces are the time between different events. As an illustration, Eco uses the example of the current meeting. While waiting for Padmanabhan to come over and interview him, Eco used the time productively to write an article. Padmanabhan then talks about Eco's writing style, which is different from mainstream academic writing. Eco, in response, narrates the story of his thesis submission. During the presentation, one of his professors commented on his unconventional style of research, that is, telling the story of his research rather than focusing on a hypothesis or a conclusion. Eco enjoyed using a narrative approach to his essays. Because of this, he only started writing novels after the age of 50. Padmanabhan then asked whether Eco was bothered by the novelist tag, despite having written noted academic works. Eco replied yes, but even though he considered himself an academic, practically he knew he reached a broader audience as a novelist. Padmanabhan then came to Eco's masterpiece. He asked whether Eco was surprised by his readers' enjoyment of The Name of the Rose, which dealt with complex ideas of religion, philosophy, and medieval history. Eco replied that it was only publishers and journalists who were surprised because of their narrow view of the reading public. He believed the readers read his novel because they wanted a complex reading experience. Finally, Padmanabhan asks Eco to comment on the success of The Name of the Rose. Eco replies that he still finds the novel's success a mystery.